Hey everybody, happy Labor Day. So for all of those that are celebrating, I'm just checking one thing really quickly. There were issues last time with my video, and I just want to make sure that everything is coming through loud and clear. So as I come on live, please do drop into the comments below hi and where you are tuning in from, or hashtag live, hashtag replay if you are watching this in on the replay. And it looks like, hold on. So if anybody that's jumping on to LinkedIn, hey Tom, if you can, just to make sure that there's no issues, if you can hear me and see me loud and clear, whether you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook, just drop yes I can in the comments below so I can make sure that I don't have to do any resets or everything. Hey Mike, happy Labor Day. I got someone coming in on YouTube. That's awesome. So just yes I can if you can see me and hear me loud and clear with whatever platform you're watching on, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. Just want to make sure that everybody is going to be getting this information. There were issues last Thursday when I did this. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. All right, beautiful. It was really weird. Last Thursday, when I did my live training, I was coming through audio only and no video. And then the strange thing was, when the live feed cut out and it went on to replay, the video worked. Really strange. But either way, so grateful that you're all here. So please do say hi and where you're tuning in from, or hashtag live, hashtag replay if you are coming in on the replay. Tag some people, share this video, and don't forget to like, love, support, whatever emoji you would like to use on whatever platform you are watching. And please don't forget, if you're on LinkedIn after we wrap up today, if you have not done so yet, go over to my profile and click the little notification bell on the right, just so you'll get notified of all the content that I push out. Video trainings Mondays and Thursdays, and then regular content Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Now, a couple quick announcements before we get into today's training. So, hey, Mike, Jamila, Tom, great to see everybody jumping on. Just a couple quick announcements. Number one, thank you so much for everyone that supported the launch of my brand new LinkedIn book, the LinkedIn book for sales and marketing. It got as high as number 2 on the Amazon bestsellers list for sales and selling books. And it was also featured in the top 41 in 6 different best-selling categories on Amazon, which I'm so grateful for. Over 500 copies were sold in the first week of its release, which is the biggest release of any book that I've written out of the 5. So grateful for that. The second big announcement is Nancy and I, at the end of this month, thank you, Jamila, at the end of this month, starting September 27th, so 3 weeks from tomorrow, Nancy and I are doing our final 5-day amateur to expert 5-day LinkedIn intensive of the year. We only do it twice a year. We only did it one other time. It was earlier in the year. People kept asking us, when are you going to do another one? So we decided to squeeze one more in. And basically, anyone that wants to learn how to go from sort of understanding LinkedIn to being an expert within 5 days, that is what Nancy and I are going to teach you in this 5-day workshop. It's Tuesday through Sunday. It's actually a 6th day. There's a bonus day. So just to give you the breakdown, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So the 27th, 28th, and 29th of September. The trainings will be from 8 to 9 p.m. EDT, live and recorded. Friday is what we consider our happy hour training. That's from 5 to 6 EDT. And then Saturday and Sunday are our brunch trainings, 11 to 12 p.m. EDT, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to teach you the optimization of your profile, building your ideal network, messaging, booking, and closing sales calls, creating content, and following our 20-minute daily routine. But on top of that, also teaching you and answering any questions that you have on a 60-minute live Q&A with myself and Nancy and all of you. So anyone that would like to register for this workshop, just drop an I do in the comments below. We will get you the registration link. You get a workbook. You're invited to a private Facebook group. There's going to be prizes and giveaways that are going to be handed out all week for participation, and you'll actually be able to watch the replay of those trainings for up to 2 weeks after we are done. So the following Sunday, October 9th, you'll be able to access all of these replays. So this is from September 27th to October 2nd. So it's in about 3 weeks or so. This is the last one we're doing of the calendar year. So if you want to learn directly from Nancy and myself, all you have to do is drop an I do in the comments below, and we will send you the registration link. Now, on to today's training. So people always ask me, what are the other ways of generating leads on LinkedIn? Because I think at this point, we all know what the basic ways of generating leads on LinkedIn. Mike, thank you so much for tagging. And the basic ways, is you send a connection, someone accepts, you send them a message, they want to talk, you book a call, boom, done, and then it can lead to a sale. And good to see you on here, Jamie. So Jamie, I will get you that registration link after we wrap up today. So as Jamie has done, anyone that wants to register for our final LinkedIn 5-day intensive of the year, just drop an I do. Cynthia, I will send that to you as well. Not a problem. Now, and Jamila, I will send that to you. Awesome. I'm so happy so many people want to register. You guys are going to love it. It's literally 6 days with Nancy and me. So just block out that week because it's all about learning LinkedIn with myself and Nancy. So I want to talk about the outside the box ways of really generating leads via external sources, but featuring them on LinkedIn. Now, what I want you to do now, because I'm gonna kind of break this down for you. Type a Y or a yes, or an N or a no, if you do or do not have a podcast. Sidebar, if you would like to have a podcast, drop a number 1. So Y or yes, or N or no, if you do or do not have a podcast. Yes, Andrew, this is a high level workshop. It's not much of a fee at all, but I'll send you the details on that as well. So just drop a Y or a yes, Andrew, and I can send you the registration link so you can check out the sales page. So Y or yes, or N or no, if you have a podcast, but if you have an inkling of wanting one, type a number 1. So Jamila does not have a podcast, but she would like to have one. Jamie does not. Cynthia does not. Andrew does. Awesome. So here's the thing. One of the a very outside the box way of leveraging LinkedIn to generate leads is spotlighting your podcast. And this is what I really want you guys to think about, because you may be hearing me say this right now and you're like, Scott, who would listen to me? Who would listen to me? No one would listen to anything that I have to say. I listen to podcasts. So, Scott, you're telling me that I can have my own? Absolutely. Every single person. And Mike's in one of our high-level mastermind members, and he's recording his first episode now, which we actually teach you how to create and launch a podcast in our mastermind. So, Mike, awesome. Cannot wait to hear it. So the big thing that you need to understand is that they're just like blogs, and I'm sure a bunch of you have read blogs before. There's blogs for anything, healthy cooking, crocheting, gardening, vacationing, riding bikes. There's literally a blog for anything. There also could be a podcast for anything. So let me just kind of give you an idea. Type into the chat box, if you could start a podcast, or in Andrew's case, you have a podcast, and in Mike's case, he's starting a podcast. What is the zone of genius that you would teach on your podcast? So what would your episodes be about? So again, some people interview people, which I also recommend. But if you were doing your own episode, if you were doing your own targeted themed podcast, and again, Jamie, I know that you're in the CPA bookkeeping industry, so you could do one on that. So just to kind of plug in, type in the chat box, zone of genius. Obviously you guys know mine is leveraged around LinkedIn. It's a sales and marketing based podcast. So what is your zone of genius? If you could start a podcast today, right now, what would your podcast be about and what would you teach? Type it in the chat box, because here's what I want to tell you. Accounting, there we go. And again, Jamie, tons of room in the podcasting world for accounting podcasts, because everyone is looking for tips on that. I guarantee you. The great thing is you can promote your podcast. And Jamila, that's also great. You can do a female business podcast, for women over 40. That's definitely a targeted niche. Mike says alternative wellness and business tips for professionals working in that arena. I love that. Now, what I'll say to you is this. The great thing about leveraging your podcast is, A, you can promote your podcast in some of your LinkedIn posts. So if you have a new episode that has come out, you can do a post and say, hey, everyone, check out my new podcast episode on the Business Women Over 40 podcast with Jamila Adams. Check out my latest podcast on 3 tips to do X, Y, and Z, right? Or, hey, everyone, check out my latest episode on accounting tips for business professionals. On my latest podcast episode, with Jamie. So again, these are things that you can do, and it's not difficult. So I use a platform called Anchor.fm. It's something that I teach people how to do. But what you can do is you can start to promote that podcast in LinkedIn posts. You can even have it in your featured content section on your profile. You can even have it as an experience section. And what you can do is you can put links to it. So here's the big idea is when someone listens to a podcast, part of what I teach people how to do is to put some sort of call to action, right? So for, Mike and Jamila and Jamie, if you could have a specific call to action, and I just want you guys to get your wheels turning. And if you wanted someone to reach out to you, so what is a call to action that you can add in to the end of your podcast episode to direct people to further connect with you? So just to kind of give you an idea so you can get the wheels turning, at the end of my podcast episodes, I say if anybody is looking to learn to leverage LinkedIn better to generate leads, increase their income, and stand out in a crowded space online, just go to scottaaron.net, where you can download my free infographic and even book a call to talk about how I can assist you. So that's my call to action every single time someone listens to my podcast. And if I promote it on LinkedIn, which I do, people can listen to that episode. And if it's the right person, there we go. Jamila says, contact me for a free consultation. Jamie says, book a call with me to discuss your accounting. So those are all very simple calls to action. So just imagine having your business themed podcast, out into the internet ethos, but at the same time, you're able to publicize it and market it on LinkedIn, where if your ideal clients that you've been funneling into your connections and your network on LinkedIn, they start listening, they get really attracted to your podcast episodes, they hear that call to action, and you start getting people to book calls. So if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat box below. So again, a podcast is a great way to generate leads online, but also leverage your LinkedIn network by spotlighting that podcast. So again, just to let everybody know, Nancy and I are holding our final LinkedIn intensive of the year, September 27th to October 2nd. It's 6 days, 5 days of training, 1 day of Q&A. Just drop an I do in the comments below. If you would like to register, you get a workbook. There's prizes, free Facebook group, and you'll be able to watch the replays for over 2 weeks after we're done. So we begin on the 27th. You'll have access to the replays until the 9th of October. So again, if you're jumping on late and you would like to register, registration is open. Just drop an I do. And Jamila says yes. So the first thing you do is you spotlight your podcast. And if you're jumping on late and I haven't seen you say hi yet, please do say hi and where you're tuning in from. Now, the second thing that you can do. Now, again, on the topic of what I've just done, I just released my brand new book. You guys know this. So how many of you, type Y or yes or N or no, how many of you feel like you have a book inside of you that you've always wanted to write to get out of your zone of genius or a passion of yours, and you wanted to get it out there, but you just haven't done it yet? So Y or yes or N or no if you feel you have a book inside of you. Now, books are unbelievable lead generation tools. Unbelievable. It is a way to warm people up. So just to kind of give you the inner workings, just like you can put out onto LinkedIn your podcast, if you can self-publish a book, and again, Mike is in the process of writing his first book. That's something that Nancy and I teach in our mastermind as well. We teach you how to launch and create your own podcast. We teach you how to write and self-publish your first book. The fact of the matter is that that book becomes one giant lead magnet. And just to kind of give you an example, in my book, in chapter 2, where I go over optimizing your profile, at the end of that chapter, I direct the reader to go to scottaaron.net to download a free copy of How to Optimize Your LinkedIn Profile infograph. That way, I can start generating some leads. They can receive some emails from me about my podcast, or they can even book a call after downloading that free infograph. And again, you could spotlight that book in many different ways on LinkedIn. If you've turned on creator mode, which I always recommend all of you to do, in the top part of your contact info, where it has your name, your headline, your location, you can actually put a website with text link. And mine, if you go to my profile after you're done, it says grab a copy of my new book here. So now I can start generating not only book sales, but I can start generating leads from people that actually take that call to action in chapter 2, which is to download my free infograph from my website. I can also feature that book in the featured content section. In the publication section on LinkedIn, you can also feature your books, and you can add a hyperlink to Amazon or wherever that book is sitting to be purchased, and you can generate sales of your books right off of your LinkedIn profile, which again leads into more leads being generated. So if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat box. So again, these are all outside the box. And so I just want to let you all know, people ask me all the time, how do you generate so many leads, this, that, or the other? I mean, I have the organic way, which again is connecting and messaging and doing all those things, but I'm constantly publicizing my podcast. I'm constantly publicizing my books because I want people to know that there's ways that they can learn from me before even giving me a dime. I want to give as much free value as possible. I want to pour into people to build the know, like, and trust so they see me as a trusted source and say, you know what? I have the money to invest and I know who I'm going to invest it with because they are a proven expert. They've done all these things. When someone hears that I've written 3 LinkedIn books, right? All of which had hit bestsellers in their own categories. Over 500 written recommendations, a top-rated podcast that gets between 15 to 20,000 downloads every single month. And they speak all these things. You're adding to your credibility. So it's making it easier for you to bridge the gap between someone that really isn't sure what their next investment may be or who they should work with to that person's like, you know what? This is the go-to expert. This is the person that I need to take that next step with to get my business to the next level. So again, if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the comments below. So again, just a review. The first 2 ways outside the box is to spotlight your podcast when you have one. Spotlight your book when you have one. And finally, number 3. Spotlight your workshop or masterclass on LinkedIn. This is something every time Nancy and I have a workshop. Now, just to let you know, Nancy and I have done, let's see, what are we in, September? We have done 7 workshops this year already, and we have 1 more to do, 2 more to do later on. But just to let you know, is we leverage LinkedIn to spotlight and promote our workshops. Because if people end up registering for our workshops, that is a way to capture leads, get people to be, to register for the event, start learning from us in the 3-day or 2-day or 5-day workshop that we're having, and then eventually, when that person is ready, they can then cross the bridge to doing more with us, whether it's joining a membership that we have or a course or our mastermind or a virtual program, whatever it is. But LinkedIn gives you the ability to spotlight a workshop or a masterclass that you're teaching by creating a LinkedIn event and pushing it out to your network and inviting people to attend. So let me ask you this. If those that are on here live, even if you're on the replay, I want you to type this into the chat box. And Jamie, you read my mind. She goes, I've been thinking about what type of workshop I want to do. So that's my question. If you could do a 2-day workshop teaching your ideal target market something they need to know within your zone of genius that would help their business, type what that workshop would be based on and about in the chat box below. So, Jamie, just to kind of get the wheels turning, it could be, how to understand the accounting of your business 2-day workshop. And you could teach in those 2 days, teaching people about their P&L, teaching people about their balance sheet, expenses versus profits, whatever it is, what's a business write-off, what isn't a business write-off. So I want you all to start thinking, if I could teach a 2-day workshop, what would that 2-day workshop be and about, where I can then pour into people? And this is, again, you do these workshops, you can promote it on LinkedIn, and you have a registration page. Now you're generating leads. What I feel, and I was talking about this with Nancy last night, what I feel is probably one of the most undervalued and talked about aspects of building a business online is building your email list. And this is something that Nancy and I talk about all the time within our courses, our memberships, and our masterminds. Nancy and I, we have right now probably close to 13,000 emails on our list. And that's grown in the last 4 years. It didn't happen overnight. It took us about 4, almost 5 years to get to that point. But it's something that we always focus on is how can we generate new leads? How can we generate more offline communication, because what you have to remember is that social media is rented land. We don't own LinkedIn. We don't own Facebook. We don't own Instagram. We don't own TikTok. We don't own YouTube. Our channels could be disabled like that, or the lights could be turned off, whatever it is. You have to think of a way to generate leads offline, and spotlighting a workshop or masterclass through LinkedIn to get people to register is a great way to do that. So if you have resonated and are now, the wheels are turning a little bit about, okay, I got to start thinking outside the box, drop a Y or a yes in the comments below, because, I don't care if you have a podcast, if you have a book, if you do workshops, or a combination of the three, or just one of them. You have to choose to do something a little bit different to start generating additional leads outside of just the basic ways. The basics will only get you so far. It's time to level up and start doing different things. But again, we also want to teach you some of those things in the workshop that we're going to be doing at the end of this month. So just to wrap up quickly and finally, for those that are jumping on late or watching on the replay, Nancy and I are doing our final LinkedIn 5-day workshop of the year. It's called the Amateur to Expert 5-day workshop on LinkedIn. We're teaching you all new and updated things that you need to do. And if you would like to register, just drop an I do in the comments below. It's Tuesday through Sunday. Tuesday through Saturday are the trainings. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 to 9 p.m. EDT. Fridays, 5 to 6. Saturday and Sunday, Sunday being the bonus day for Q&A, are from 11 to 12. So if anyone would like to register, it's from September 27th to October 2nd, live and recorded on private Zoom. You can watch the replays until October 9th. We would love to see you there. It's the final one. This is going to get you rocking and rolling, going right into Q4 of this year, so you can make 2023 amazing. And we want to show you exactly how to do it. So if anybody would like to register, drop an I do below. And then the final thing is, between spotlighting your podcast, spotlighting your book, and spotlighting your workshop or masterclass, what do you feel, or what was your biggest takeaway from today's training? What has gotten the wheels turning? Which of those three do you see yourself committing to in the near future to put out there to start generating leads in a different way? I would love to hear from you. Comment below which one it's going to be, podcast, book, or masterclass. So everyone, for those that are celebrating, happy Labor Day. I hope you have a wonderful day off. For all those that are not, that are still working today, continue to do what you do best. Continue to shine that light. Love and gratitude to each and every one of you. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.